Okay. See, today's class, before I start today's class, I think it's very important that the human race today is gone to such level that we are always only concerned when things happen in our own life. So it is very important to understand, to appreciate what the human race is also facing today. So our heartfelt prayers today first to the people of Turkey, because so many people, 25,000 plus people and counting, have lost their life. Do remember, as I said earlier, that this is the year of Ketu. There is going to be a lot of endings happening, and you see the kind of devastation happening around the world now. And also, the unfortunate part is we are only concerned when it happens in our immediate family. Otherwise, our awakening is always at that level that we are never so much concerned about what is happening around the world. For us, it is only a number, and it is only a like a news factor that you will see on television. It is very important that we should always have them in our prayers while we are praying for our own self and for our own desires in life. It could be materialism, it could be whatever you want to achieve. See, remember, today be in gratitude, because that is the most important thing. If you are not in gratitude for the people in your life, if you are not in gratitude for the food on the table, and if you have not in gratitude for the money that is coming to you, imagine those people. There are more than 5 million people plus only in Syria today who have become homeless within 2 days. They have nowhere to go. So always remember to have people have this kind of situations in your prayers, and give some kind of a resonance to the thoughts and what is they might be going through. This will make your life, you will be able to appreciate your own life much better when you will see things. When this is the irony of the human mind. That means when you see somebody else in pain, only then you will appreciate how lucky or fortunate you are. So always be in that kind of gratitude, because what happens, our longing for that which you do not have, our longing for tomorrow always kills our today. What you have today, you will never be able to appreciate. And maybe it could happen in your life that when you lose it, that is the time when you will start realizing, and you will miss that moment that, oh, I should have done something like this. See, today is a very beautiful time that we are heading for actually at a spiritual level. From 15th February to 10th March approximately, Venus, the guru of the Daitya, and Jupiter, the guru of the Devtas, will be sitting together in the Pisces sign. Wherever the Pisces sign will be in your chart, you will see that kind of illumination, that kind of the higher divine grace will start coming to you. For example, a Sagittarius ascendant, the 12th house, the 12th sign will be in the 4th house. So it means that if you focus at a spiritual level, if you start looking at a soul level, if you start talking to divinity, I'm not talking about doing high practices like mantra and chanting. No, if you just are in that surrender to divinity, it shows that the both gurus are sitting together, will be in a very powerful position to, like, for example, in a Sagittarius ascendant, the 12th sign will come in the 4th house. That means what does it do? It gives you the comfort, it gives you the peace. You will find that kind of resolution in your life that you must have never experienced before. It will all depend upon your own karma, of course, and what you have been doing and what is the time that you have changed as a human being. But wherever the 12 number sign will come, you will see there is a change and transformation, provided you allow it to happen. So always remember this. I have already written a lot of articles. You should always read about what I write. Now Rahu is going to make a transit into the Ashwini Nakshatra, and when it does something like this, it is going to be a transformative time, because you should now look at reorienting your life, to retransform your life and recalibrate your life, because the next 6 months is the time for actually very strong healing. If you have been lacking at a health front, if you have not been able to do that something that you are feeling lethargic about, then the time has come, because this 6 7 months gives you that prelude that you can put your efforts in the right direction, and any form of healing that you aspire could be at a mental level, could be at a personal level, you will see that it is giving you that kind of an advantage and you will find that answer. So please always, be in this kind of a awakening and try to see in terms of what is happening in terms of your life and all these aspirations. That way recalibrate your life. One very interesting thing I wanted to say last time: always remember that the energies are at play. What do I mean by this? Your energies of your life, energies around you are at play. जैसे मैंने last time राहु का नाम लिया, तो राहु ने डिसाइड किया कि नहीं, आज नहीं करने का, अगले टाइम करेंगे इसको, समथिंग लाइक दिस. इट ब्रोक मी ऑफ फ्रॉम दैट. इट हैज नेवर हैपेंड टिल डेट. सो समहाउ दिस थिंग हैपेंड एंड राहु दिस. बट वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग आई विल टेल यू. लोग बहुत डरते हैं राहु की महादशा आएगी, राहु का ये होगा. एक्चुअली दिस इज व्हाट राहु डज. व्हाट हैपेंस इज, I have seen in my personal experience that all the people who I've been, guiding and maybe also, learning from me, जब जब उनका राहु की महादशा चल रही होती है, and this is a very interesting thing I've observed, कि ऐसे लोगों के साथ होता क्या है, लोग बहुत डर जाते हैं कि राहु मेरा ये कर देगा, राहु मेरा वो कर देगा. एक्चुअली ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. होता क्या है कि राहु आपको इल्यूजन में डाल देता है. ओके, आई हैव ऑलवेज बीन वेरी क्लियर अबाउट दिस. सो दिस पीपल, इनकी निशानी कैसे होती है? हाउ डू यू आइडेंटिफाई अ पर्सन हु इज अंडरगोइंग अ राहु महादशा और अ राहु अंतरदशा? इज सिंपली बिकॉज दे डोंट वांट टू बी हेल्प्ड. द स्टोरी अबाउट देयर लाइफ इज दे कैन नॉट बी इन अ पोजिशन टू टेक हेल्प. तो इनको जितना भी आप अच्छा समझाओ, कुछ भी अच्छा दिखाओ, अच्छा समझाने की कोशिश करो, दे आर हेल बेंट कि नहीं, मेरे को तो सुनना ही नहीं. टू दैट एक्सटेंट, believe me, I have had students who are in the Rahu Mahadasha, and you see the kind of effort that I try to put in terms of teaching domain. If you ever have this experience, if you try to learn astrology on your own, you will understand how much effort I must have been putting to explain all these parameters to you. Anyway, but the point is this, that these people will say something to me like, I know, I really appreciate Sarvesh कि आप मेरे को इतना अच्छा सिखा रहे हो और अच्छा कुछ ये मेरे को सब टेक्निक्स बता रहे हो, whatever. But you know what? I want to learn the hard way. मेरे को ना धक्के खा के सीखना है. मेरे को मतलब everything effort I want to do and learn. Now this is how the Rahu plays the game. That means he says, no, I will, teach you the other way and make you, go into that kind of an illusion. So what happens is, always remember, never fear the planets. Understand their energies, and then you will see that it is very easy, that if you are focused, and that is why I always give emphasis to spirituality. Why? Because spirituality is the only thing which can actually hold the malefic energies of Rahu and Ketu to, keep it under control, so that you can always make a right decision. Eventually, our life is always about the decisions we make. I get now, as I said, that in the time that we are running now, when Venus and Jupiter are going to come together and stay together for all 27 days, starting from 15th February, this is the time when you can really focus at a soul level to really re-energize your life. Okay, so what happens is, I've observed, what happened last year, बहुत लोगों का मैंने sessions किया होगा, and many of the young people who are like 22, 21, always are in this notion, and even I would not blame them. Maybe शायद 21 पे ऐसे होता, सोचता कि ये क्या है, अंधविश्वास है क्या, ये astrology, all these things. Okay, but the perspective of astrology that I am trying to explain to you, you understand, is slightly different. Now that girl, I did a session for her last year with her parents, and she was sitting in front of me like this, grumpy, like, force करके उसको parents ने बिठाया था. Now what happened, after 1 year, she reached out to me and she said, Sarvesh, I have some kind of experiences, and I would love that if you can spend 5 minutes, and मेरे को थोड़ी anxiety है, could you please guide me? See, I'm very clear. Once I do the sessions, I never have my entry into their life, because I need them to guide their own life, their own ship. They cannot be dependent on me all the time. But as an exception, because they are young, I did this thing that, okay, I'll speak to you and talk. Now, what happened is this. I was realizing that why this person is coming to me again, simply because this Venus and Jupiter coming again, together in the 12 number sign. So this person was supposed to get that kind of shake up, the divine somehow wanted me to just shake that person a little, so that now when Rahu will go into the, the Ashwini Nakshatra in another 2-3 days, then you will see that that person is getting that opportunity to reorient their life, recalibrate their life, and look at it from the perspective of the higher dimension. And so such a beautiful thing to happen at 21, 22, that knowledge coming to her to do some kind of an course correction. She was so worried about her parents. Imagine that she asked me, should can you do something for them? And I told her very simply, you focus only on your karma. And she's in the Saturn Mahadasha, so very important for the person to work on her daily basis, not tomorrow, not day after, doing it step by step. So this is the most important thing that you must understand. See, today, before I start into the class, there is something that I want you to all know. See, ऑलवेज एस्ट्रोलॉजी फॉर मी हैज बीन रिसर्च बेस्ड. ऐसे कुछ है नहीं कि मेरे पास पूरा ज्ञान है और मैं ऊपर से गिर गया और मेरे को लाइक इन माय 5 6 8 9 years of my on this line I've got the knowledge of everything. No, it doesn't happen like that. We are always learning. I also learn every day in different parameters. So one beautiful thing that I saw in one of the classical texts, because one cannot always look at only one thing कि कहाँ से आपने pick up किया. You always, the divine guides you like that. So one of the most beautiful things that you must remember, what is actually astrology? Okay, astrology is nothing. Anything that you understand about the Vedic science is a dialogue between the Lord Shiva and his escort Ma Parvati. What happens is this, that Parvati ji looks at the suffering of the human race and whatever is happening, diseases, all these things happening on the Bhuloka, and she talks to her master and says ki, Shiva, please kindly explain to me, what is this? Why is the human race suffering in all this kind of a dimension? What is happening? And that time, Lord Shiva smiles and then, explains to her, and everything that comes through his mouth is called astrology actually. So Vedic science comes from the mouth of Lord Shiva, and Lord, the goddess Parvati, understands that, and then she passes on future to different sages and things like that, an experiential thing. So it is said that it is the first rule you must always remember. Why did I choose Sunday for my classes? Not because it is a holiday for me or something like that. Remember that the Sunday in the Shastras is the day of the Surya Bhagwan. So obviously the Vedic science is ruled by the sun god, number one. Number two, it is mentioned in the classics that आपके कितने जन्म के जो पाप होते हैं, you have different karmic reactions, which is the sanchit karma, many lifetimes of karma. Your prarabdha karma, that means what you are doing in this lifetime and what you are living this lifetime, and your kriyamana karma, that means you are doing every day. Any action that you're doing will always have reaction. That is your kriyamana karma. So all these things become so important as to what you are going to do in this lifetime. That is always this opportunity for you. So what happens is this, and when the discourse goes further, when it is got into that explanation, it starts always like this, that the Bhagwan says, Lord Shiva says, that if you want to get rid of some of the debts of your karmic thing, it is utmost important that on a Sunday, you should have a bath in the holy river, number one, or number two, is by means of getting herbal bath. This is how it is translated. So what it means primarily कि आज के ज़माने में possible नहीं है कि आप जाके holy river में जाके रोज नहाओ, but it is important that if you can, for your loved ones, for your young ones, have some kind of like Ganga Jal put in your water, number one. Or there are a lot of factors like in terms of, the planetary alignment. Like if you have been, you have some Venus affliction, then you should have little rose water in your bathing water. If there is Mars, then there should be some sandalwood. Jupiter, then, you should have like turmeric. So all these things, Saturn, like, you could have charcoal or tea leaves or something like this. So everything is associated to a planet. So you need to have some kind of, thing in your bathing thing. So that has the power to take away some of the karmic curses of so many lifetimes that you are not aware of. This is number one. Now, it goes on to say further, specifically because you all may be tomorrow guiding people, as I always say, The Vedic science is not for having fun or to make money per se, but it is more about guiding people and doing margdarshan. So when the discussion happens and it talks about who will be a good astrologer, Lord Shiva explains that the good astrologer, I'm just talking on a modern context, but he says in terms of the good, Shastri or whatever, will be that person who will get, he will be the only person who will get the knowledge, who will be a pure soul. That means he has to be sattvic. Sattvic doesn't mean that you have to just eat sattvic and become, tamasic in your thinking and rajasic in your, no, it means that you have to be in the modern interpretation, unless you are not a good human being, forget about it. Astrology can never come to you. Vedic science can never come to you. So it is primarily important that you become a good human being first. What is a good human being? Always make the right decision, do the right thing at that moment. Forget about what you have done yesterday. But from today, you should always make the right decision. That is what is a good human being, number one. Then obviously he needs to meditate, because meditation is the only way that you can actually awaken your soul and keep it in the right direction. That is the point number two. And third, which is the most important, is in the faith of the divine. If you do not have your faith in the divine, how can you teach a subject? How can you do something about that subject that you are trying to attain? So it is very important for you to have faith in the divine. And also remember that that is the only way you will be able to guide the seekers in the right direction. Obviously there are a lot of aspects to it. It goes on about ki purane zamane mein, you will be surprised that it was said that when you go to an astrologer, you should never give it any free advice. So even the remuneration was decided. Us time pe aise hota tha ki aapko gaay deni hoti thi, because people didn't trade with that kind of money and thing like that. So you have to be very this.